Media's role in shaping social change, addressing inequities, and empowering voices. Chairman Alex Ndudi Enebele, FSM, President, Institute of Strategic Management of Nigeria, Chartered. Keynote speaker, Professor Armstrong Idachaba, Professor of Media and Broadcasting Communication. Panelist, Professor Chris Ochonogo, Immediate Past Head of Department, Journalism and Media Studies, University of Port Harcourt. Dr. Ijoma Tobosia, Secretary, NUJ, River State. Dr. Sarah Joe, University Orator and Associate Dean, Faculty of Communication and Media, River State University, Port Harcourt. Dr. Ibiere Koki, Ignatius Aju University of Education, Rumolomini, Port Harcourt. Chief Host, Dr. Chinyere Igwe, Esquire, Chairman, Morrison Group. Date, Tuesday, 10th March 2026. Venue, Gate Place Hotel, Kilometer 5, East West Road, adjacent Obirikwere Flyover, Rumosi, Port Harcourt. Time, 10 a.m. For more information, please call Kainde Paul Obofade, 081 063 41777 or Samuel Ajinwo at 090-454-00744. Signed, Management.
A very, very beautiful evening to you. You're welcome to another exciting edition of Sport Extraordinary on Atlantic Television Network. My name is Kingsley Mando. Very happy to be back on your screen to bring you all that you need to know revolving around the beautiful world of sports this evening. We're going to be taking a look at the Premier League tonight. Of course, there will be some games. And there have been a lot of reaction, from that encounter we saw yesterday between Wolverhampton Wanderers and Liverpool Football Club. Liverpool couldn't hold their own, as of course they couldn't take all 3 points in that encounter. We'll talk about the Super Eagles of Nigeria as well, as we hear that, of course, FIFA has actually put up a verdict on the issue between DR Congo and the Super Eagles of Nigeria, of who, of course, is eligible to compete in the World Cup playoff at this point in time. A whole lot, to this edition of the show. It promises to be another exciting edition. We'll take a look at that, as well as so many other stories revolving around the beautiful world of sports this evening. We'll take a break. When we return, of course, we'll unravel all that you need to know revolving around the beautiful world of sports. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Yeah, welcome back. See Sports Extraordinary on Atlantic Television Network, and joining me to do justice on today's edition is Miracle Oyekazi. Miracle, good evening to you and welcome to the show.
Yeah, good evening, Kingsley. Good evening, Port Harcourt. It's always nice to be here to talk sports.
And quickly, of course, we'll move down to football as we take a look at the latest coming from the Nigerian Premier Football League this evening. Finidi George, the coach of Rivers United, is very optimistic. As it stands, he has maintained that Rivers United remain firmly on course for the Nigerian Premier Football League title despite their latest setback against Bayelsa United. The Pride of Rivers suffered a narrow defeat to Bayelsa United over the weekend, but the former Super Eagles winger downplayed the result, insisting that the bigger objective of the season remains intact. Reacting after the game, Finidi made it clear that he is willing to sacrifice limited results if it ultimately delivers the league, crown. And today, we've seen them, of course, being able to do just what the coach has said by beating Economy Warriors, today 3-0 in that particular encounter. Miracle, what do you make of Rivers United and the title this time around in the Nigerian Premier Football League?
Yeah, for me, I think the pendulum is swinging in one direction so far. I think due to the fact of that they are topping the league with about 2 points now off Enugu Rangers, and they still have about 2 games in hand. I think they stand heads and shoulders above any other team so far in the league, and I think if they continue to become dominant, especially at home, and at least try to pick up points away from home, they are in the course of maybe clinching another title for themselves.
A whole lot at this point in time, but taking a look at how intense the league title is, at this point in time, Rivers United pushing 2 outstanding games, just like you mentioned, still remaining. We have Enugu Rangers still pushing. There's still Ikorodu City as well coming up. I don't know what you make of the MPFL title race. Rangers, coach of the side, Philidis Lechuku, is actually talking tough. He said his team is actually the best when it comes to departments, in the Nigerian Premier Football League at this point in time. Do you see it being a very tight one when it has to do with the title race, looking at the teams on board, Rivers United, Rangers, and the likes of Ikorodu City?
Yeah, for me, considering on what Coach Fidelis Lechuku said, I think he's a I would like to say he's outspoken. He's an outspoken manager. He knows his A game. He knows the kind of tactics he goes into on the pitch of play. I think some couple of seasons he actually led Rangers to eventually winning the league, and this season they are still in contention to do so. But I wouldn't want to agree that they've been the best team in the league so far, because if you look at the log, Rivers United is above any other team in the league. I want to say Rivers United just had an edge over Enugu Rangers. But yes, Rangers, they are a traditional side in the Nigerian Professional Football League. They are a well-known name. They've been competing and contending for league titles over the years. And I just hope that, yes, they can continue to compete. But eventually, if they come out to win the league title, you never can tell. But so far, I think Rivers United will be very, 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 very competitive, and to be a hard and tough battle from now to the end of the season for Enugu Rangers.
Tough battle from now to the end of the season for Enugu Rangers. Can they catch up? Can they be consistent? And of course, look forward to see how they can fight for the title. Rivers United, they are up there on the league table with 2 outstanding games. Can they hold their own all down to the end for the season? We'll keep our fingers crossed as the season unfolds in Nigerian Premier Football League. But away from the MPFL, perennial African champions Nigeria underscore the truism that class is permanent when they trounce the indomitable Lionesses of Cameroon 3-1 in the second of a 2-match tour in Yaoundé yesterday, 3 days after they were pipped by the odd goal in the first meeting. The Super Falcons returned to the military stadium in northern Yaoundé and flipped the script, emphatically beating the Lionesses 3-1 in that particular encounter. Preparation, of course, intense for the Super Falcons of Nigeria ahead of the Women African Cup of Nations. What do you make of that friendly games, we saw against, Cameroon?
I think the Super Falcons of Nigeria, they had a very disappointing outcome in the first game which they eventually lost by 1-0. But I think the way they bounced from that and going into the second encounter, which they a victory over their opponent 3-1 was very, very outstanding. I think the girls had a lot of opportunities to correct their mistakes in that particular one, and they eventually went into that game knowing fully well that they needed to correct their mistake and make a positive outcome out of that particular game. For me, I think it's a good one, a good preparation. I think the Lions of the female Cameroonian national team, they are a good team as well. Heads and shoulders, I think the Super Falcons are above them, but when it comes to African football competing on the highest level, I think the Cameroonian team, they are a good team, and I think they challenged and they were a good opposition and a good, will I say, friendly game for the both teams and in preparation for the African Cup of Nations. Impressive
one for the Super Falcons of Nigeria. We hope they get the job done, going forward, as it stands. The Women African Cup of Nations just by the corner. But talking about the WAFCON, do you think the Super Falcons are in a good position to defend the title they won last time?
Yeah, for me, I think 9 out of 10 times you always back the Super Falcons of Nigeria to come out victorious in major tournaments, especially when it comes to do with when it has to do with African football back here in the continent. I think over the years they've shown and proven themselves to be dominant when it comes to playing women's football. I think the tournament prove them that they are not really, will I say, they are not really backwards the way a lot of people have actually talked about them, of them losing form, them giving way for the likes of South Africa and Morocco to come into the picture. But they showed themselves in the last tournament how outstanding they can be on a good day, going into that particular one, not as favorites, but eventually coming out victorious to win that particular tournament. So hopefully, all fingers crossed, I want to tip them on going into this particular one to reach the later stage of the competition, even reaching the finals and eventually winning another title for themselves.
One lady that everyone, of course, some persons have been talking about is Asishat Ashola. We didn't see her in this friendly game against, Cameroon at this point in time. It looks as if Justin Madugu doesn't really see, the value, for Asishat Ashola. I don't know, maybe going forward in the Super Falcons at this point. I take a look at the last African Cup of Nations. She didn't really get, much game time as well. We didn't really see much of Asishat Ashola. Do you think, our time is gradually coming to an end in the Super Falcons of Nigeria?
Yeah, for me, I think Ashola over the years has shown that she's a very, very fantastic player. I think she's a legend of the game when it comes to African football, winning a lot of women's African Cup of Nations, winning Women's Best Player of the Year a couple of times. So I feel like every coach will want to have the experience and the doggedness of Asishat Ashola in their dressing room. But for now, I think we have a lot of young players in the Super Eagles squad, and our coach, Justin, knows that he needs to give those players a chance. We have the likes of who is a very, very fantastic player. I think in the last AFCON we saw how brilliant she was.
And also Gifts Monday.
Yeah, we have Gifts Monday. We have the likes of Onumonu. We have
Is Onumonu still firing?
Yeah, for me, I think in the last tournament we didn't really see a lot of Onumonu. But I think in the previous tournament when we had the likes of Coach Randre Waldrum in the touchline, I think he actually gave her a lot of chances to play. But in the last tournament we saw Esther Koronko and the likes of Gifts Monday, not forgetting our captain as well, Rasheedat Ajibade, coming up to the team. But Asishat Ashola, I think this is the time that she needs to show that yes, she needs to impact those leadership qualities onto the team. Although she didn't, she's not playing as much as she would have wanted to be playing. But I really think that our coach still believes in her. Still knows what she can put up on a good day, and that's why she continues to get that call up to the Super Falcons team.
All right, let's see how it goes. We look forward to see if Coach Justin Madugu maybe will call up, Asishat Ashola in the Women African Cup of Nations that comes up very soon in Morocco. And Miracle. talking about Morocco, we hear that they might not be the host of the current edition of the Women African Cup of Nations at this point in time. We heard that FIFA has come up with the fact that in the space of 48 hours, they will of course come out to announce the host country of the Women African Cup of Nations this time around. What could be the problem? Why is Morocco shying away from hosting the tournament this time?
Yeah, for me, I think a clear-cut reason is still yet to be announced. It's unknown what the issues are. But for me, I think them coming out to make such statements earlier, for me, I think it is actually something that a lot of us didn't see coming. I think Morocco over the years have hosted tournament. They've been applauded for coming out to host big tournaments like the Women's African Cup of Nations, as well as the just concluded Men's African Cup of Nations. But for me, it's still yet to be said why and the reasons why they've opted from hosting this particular one. But I just hope, all fingers crossed, that CAF can come out to give us a reason, and CAF can come out to tell us who will be hosting this particular one, because the time frame is not really on our side. Yeah. In a couple of weeks from now, the Women African Cup of Nations will be kicking off, and I just hope that we'll have a fantastic tournament like we did in the last couple of months.
Let's say it goes, it might not be Morocco this time around, so we wait to hear from CAF on which country will host the Women African Cup of Nations, as it stands going forward. But there's a very, very big issue, especially from the camp of the Super Eagles of Nigeria, or will I say from CAF or FIFA to say at this point in time, as we hear that Nigeria's dream of playing at the 2026 FIFA World Cup has come to an end after FIFA confirmed the final teams, for the Inter-Confederation Playoff tournament. In a statement released today, FIFA named DR Congo as Africa's representative in the Six Nation competition. The decision means there is no place for Nigeria in the tournament. The Nigerian Football Federation had earlier submitted a formal protest. The federation claimed that DR Congo used ineligible players during their CAF playoff match in November 2025. Now, that game ended 1-0 before Nigeria lost on penalties. Nigeria's appeal asked FIFA to overturn the result and award them a spot in the Intercontinental Playoff. However, FIFA's latest update has now settled the matter. According to FIFA, 6 countries will compete for the final 2 tickets to the World Cup, which will be hosted by Canada, Mexico, and the United States across 6 cities. The qualified teams are Bolivia, DR Congo, Iraq, Jamaica, New Caledonia, and Suriname. The playoff matches will begin on the 26th of March. With DR Congo officially confirmed, Nigeria's protest has failed, ending their hopes of reaching the 2026 World Cup at this point in time. Miracle, the question is there a verdict, at this point in time? We're waiting for a verdict with the fact that FIFA has actually brought out DR Congo at this point in time. You think that matter has been settled? Do you think FIFA has actually put up a verdict, at the end of the day, looking at how Nigerians were protesting? The Nigerian Football Federation, of course, writes into FIFA, bringing the fact that DR Congo actually fielded in ineligible players, in the qualifiers. With what we're seeing, you think FIFA has finally settled that issue?
Yeah, for me, Kingsley, I think, for me, it's still yet to be known, because it's not been, we've not really seen FIFA coming out to make an official statement
yeah,
or coming out to the press to give a verdict. But we just saw the lineup of the eventual teams to be participating in the Intercontinental Playoff. So for me, I think all fingers crossed. Nigeria, do we still have a chance? Is yet to be known, but I just hope that FIFA should come out and make things clear, either giving us an official statement or coming on to going to the press and making a statement. So for me, I think Nigeria, personally for me, I think all hope is lost. I think we should go back to the drawing board and look for ways and we can promote and make sure that we don't fall into such a situation again. I think the 2030 World Cup should be our priority now, and we should start building and start planning from now. If not, I think things like this might eventually happen again, where we see ourselves looking for ways to go to the World Cup through the back door. So for me, I think Nigeria should focus on our upcoming friendly games and or qualifiers per se. And this verdict is left for FIFA. Any day FIFA a verdict or come out to the general public and say this is how we'll go from here. Is Nigeria qualifying or is DR Congo going through? Then we accept it. But for now, I think our focus should be on other things, and we should just let this go and prepare for the 2030 World Cup.
You know, it's actually worrisome, Miracle, because everyone expected FIFA to come out boldly to say, oh, Nigeria, due to DR Congo feeding in ineligible players, Nigeria have qualified to the intercontinental playoffs, and all of that. Or DR Congo, after much investigation, we discovered that these players were, of course, citizens, of DR Congo. They were well registered, and all of that. There was nothing like such, or to say at this point in time, to make it very clear, for people at this point in time. But I think there was a few weeks ago, we actually expected verdicts, from FIFA. Nigerians were all waiting on social media and all of that, but at the end of the day, nothing official, from FIFA. And today, we're seeing DR Congo, all right, being actually put as one of the teams, down here, now as well as a team from Africa to play in the intercontinental playoff. So, what do you think of the silence of FIFA and the way FIFA has gone about in trying to, of course, to see how to put up these verdicts?
For me, I think going with the way FIFA has handled this issue, I don't really think FIFA really have, will I say per se, will I say a verdict yet. I think their investigation is still on, and
it's not too long.
I think
this matter was since 2025.
Yeah, we know this issue have been dangling, and a lot of people have been calling for FIFA. A lot of petitions have been sent, but I think FIFA are doing their own due diligence, so making sure that they don't make an issues from this or from the eventual verdict that they are going to give. I think they are still investigating the matter. They are still looking into it and looking into the rules as well, because you can't give a verdict without looking at the rules. So for me, I think the playoffs they are to happen in the next couple of weeks. So between now and then, I just hope that FIFA can come up with a verdict and come to the press and tell us this is what will happen, and let all parties know where they stand. The World Cup, let's know who the teams that will be qualifying to the World Cup through the intercontinental playoffs.
So with what we're seeing now, does it mean there's no hope for Nigeria? Because FIFA, of course, they've placed DR Congo as the team to play the intercontinental playoff. It comes up in a few weeks, just like you mentioned. So for me, I don't think FIFA will do this if they are not sure of DR Congo, of course, maybe in the intercontinental playoff and also playing in the World Cup, at this point in time. Because if you actually putting their name there as one of the sides, to play the intercontinental playoff, they will start preparation. So does it mean after the whole effort of preparing to play the intercontinental playoff within the time frame, you now come up with a verdict? What if they are guilty? So at this point in time, will you say it is done and dusted for Nigeria?
Yeah, personally for me, I think it has been done and dusted for a while now. I don't really see why Nigeria even petitioned in the first place. Yes, the rules are the rules, but for me, I think we should have focused on other things and let this World Cup qualification go. I think the World Cup, there's an AFCON to come as well. We need to start preparing for this tournament. We need to start preparing for other things. I think knowing fully well of how FIFA handled the issues in the past, I think Nigeria, we've really not been favored per se, except from that with the South Africa and the issue where they were deducted points in the qualifiers. But for me, I think knowing how FIFA has handled issues in the past, I don't really think this verdict will be overturned.
Really bad one, Miracle, to say. If it happens this way, this will be the second time in a row to see Super Eagles of Nigeria will not be qualifying for the World Cup, and it's really a huge setback, for us as a football-loving, country to say at this point in time. And a whole lot has been said. But going forward, how should we correct this wrong of not participating in the World Cup, for 2 editions now?
I think one of the major issues we've had in the past, I think, is majorly from our own self. I think the NFF have become a headache for the growth of Nigerian football. I think they've not been able to manage and put things in place on time. I think the self-managers over and over again has actually hampered, if not the biggest reason why we're not going to this World Cup. I think it's because of the change in managerial system that we've had over the last couple of years. I think the likes of Coach Finidi George, Jose Pesero, as well as Eric Chell, the change of managers actually hampered us not going to this particular tournament. I think from now going forward, I think the management, the NFF, should find a way to start preparing early, making good decisions, not making decisions that will actually cost us in the future. I think the NFF employing Finidi George at that particular time actually cost us this World Cup. I think since Eric Chell took over as the head coach of the national team, we didn't lose a single game throughout the course of the qualifiers. And we haven't lost a single game in the eventual 90 minutes. So for me, I think having a good coach, planning, building with that particular coach, not changing coaches here and there. I think if we can start from now and plan ahead, I think hopefully we have good players. We have good crop of players. Our players are doing well in Europe, in Asia, other continents, even back here. In our own backyard, we have good players. Just that our league has not been growing. We've had a lack of good infrastructure in our home football here. So for me, I think good planning, good managerial system. The NFL should start making decisions that will not cost us. They should make good decisions. Stop owing managers, because these are the issues we are having. Once you start owing managers complaining, before you know, they are out of the job. We'll start again from afresh, bringing in new coaches. These are the issues that cost us not going to the World Cup. So if all this can be done, I think we stand a chance of making it through to the next World Cup.
All right, let's say it is. There's a new man on board, Eric Chell. Just like you mentioned, he has done a whole lot for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. He really tried during the qualifiers, despite the fact that, yes, he didn't start the qualifier, but we saw the results he was able to put out there. And the African Cup of Nations, where he took the Eagles, down to winning a bronze medal this time around. With Eric Shaw on board, do you think some of these lapses, will be corrected going forward?
Yeah, I think Coach Eric Shaw is a fantastic manager. He's shown how tactical disciplined he is. He's shown that he can actually get out the best or bring out the best from our quality players. We've seen the likes of Alex Iwobi under Eric Chell, how brilliant he's been. We've seen Victor Osimhen. We've seen the likes of Akko Adams that got into the team. We've seen a lot of good players, Calvin Bassey. Our players are improving over time. Since Eric Chell took over, it shows that he's really imputing his tactics and his philosophy into this team, and we saw the kind of beautiful football we played throughout the course of the AFCON tournament. Yes, we didn't win the tournament. We finished third, but for me, I think if you ask any Nigerian fan or any Nigerian, if Nigerian really play good football throughout the AFCON, they will definitely say yes. So I think Coach Eric Chell is the way forward. If he asks for something, I think we should give him the basics. Things that he's not meant to ask for. We should make provisions for such, or give him the avenues for him to be fluent in his job, for him to have it easy in his job, not making things difficult over and over again for him. So for me, I think Coach Eric Chell, if we start building with him from now till 2 to 3 years from now, I think the Super Eagles stand a chance of making it through to the next World Cup.
Eric Chell, a few weeks ago, came out to say that in order for him to extend his contract with the Super Eagles of Nigeria, that he has to be paid a salary of $130,000. And the NFF have not really said anything on that. Nigerians have been reacting to that salary, from Coach Eric Chell. Do you think he deserves to earn such $130,000 every month?
For me, I think $130,000 every month is not such a huge salary for a coach. I think, yes, there's a statement, and it's not really official because we didn't really see it from his mouth, watch him say it. But I think it's open for negotiation. Because someone says he needs $130,000 doesn't mean that you just give him $130,000. I think if you go to the back to negotiate with him, if you come to a resolution on the closest or the near, you can't give him. If someone says $130,000, it means that it doesn't mean that you must give him per se that $130,000. If you go back to negotiate with the person, you both can come to agreement. Okay, this if I can't give you $130,000, we are willing to give you $80,000. If he decides to take $80,000, is left for him. If he doesn't decide, then you keep negotiating with him. This is how are done. That's why they have agents. That's why they negotiate. Because someone asks for a certain amount, it doesn't mean that he's obligated to get such amounts. So for me, I think that $130,000 is not such a huge amount. I think it's been rumored that he's on a pay of $50,000. And let's not forget how the previous coach, Jose Pesero, was on a pay of $80,000. So for me, I think
was he on the pay? I think it was Pesero was around $60,000.
Yeah, for me, it's a bit similar, and he was still asking for more as well. So for me, I think it's not really that big for a coach, but I think the NFF still has time, and they can still negotiate and come to the party and make a decision. The two parties can agree on a certain fee, and they move on from there.
Let's see how it goes at this point in time. A whole lot around the Super Eagles of Nigeria. We just saw the action from FIFA. Wait, maybe in the coming days, FIFA will possibly put up a statement, consigning, the verdict at this point in time, because it is what it is. DR Congo, their name has in place, to play the intercontinental playoff at this point in time. So we'll keep our fingers crossed and see how things, unfold as it regards to this matter. But at this point, we'll take a break. When we return from this break, of course, we'll head straight to Europe as we talk about the Premier League. Stay with us. We'll be right back. back as the Sport Extraordinary on Atlantic Television Network. Of course, let's go for the last lap on the show this evening as we take a look at the Premier League. Was not a good one yesterday as Andre scored in 94th minute winner as bottom club Wolves beat the defending Premier League champions Liverpool yesterday. 2-1. It ended in that particular encounter in favour for Wolverhampton Wanderers. Miracle was a very disappointing one for Liverpool yesterday after putting up a whole lot of effort to get the job done. But we saw Wolves came and snatching that late, winner at the 94th minute, to get 3 points, in that encounter. I don't know what you make of for Liverpool. We've seen them, of course, conceding late goals a lot of times, this season, and that has also brought setback to them so far in terms of their performance, this season in the Premier League. What do you make of what do you make of for the fact that they always, late in some games in the Premier League this season?
Yeah, for me, I think Liverpool has been showing a lot of inconsistency when it comes to their performance late. I think we saw their previous game against West Ham United at home at Anfield in the Premier League. They actually won by 5-2, but I need to say that there were a lot of inconsistency in that particular one, although they actually came out all victorious. But conceding 2 goals at home to a poor West Ham team Anfield, it actually tells a lot about the Liverpool squad. In the game yesterday against Wolverhampton Wanderers, I think they lack a little bit of quality. We saw them unable to break the Wolverhampton defense line. We saw Wolves create chances. We saw Liverpool wasteful in front of goal. Eventually, they conceded the goal in the late stages of that particular one. That actually made them to come out to fight for an equalizer, which they got, only for them to concede another late goal in the later stages of that particular one. It tells that the coach and the boys they really need to do a lot when it comes to taking their chances and seeing out games as well. When you can't actually come out with a victory, it's left for you to see the game out and then go away with a point, especially when you're not playing at home. So for me, I think Ancelotti needs to go back to the drawing board and find a way to solve the issues surrounding Liverpool.
Let's say it goes at this point in time, and Ancelotti's, a lot of talks around him, Miracle, that he does not really have what it takes, to manage this side. First season he came, he actually inherited a team that was organized by Jurgen Klopp, and he did a whole lot, of course, with that team. But trying to track the team in getting new players, we started seeing struggles setting in for Liverpool. Do you think Ancelotti is really that man that can make Liverpool compete on a very high level, especially when you take a look at how much they really invested this season?
Yeah, for me, I think Ancelotti is not a bad manager per se. I think for him to be able to lift the Premier League title with Liverpool Football Club last season, it shows how competitive he is as a manager coming into the new league, and he was able to do that in his first season.
So the team was already set up for him?
I wouldn't want to agree with that. I think the previous season before Klopp left, Liverpool didn't even finish in the Champions League places. They finished 5th. They qualified for the Europa League, not the Champions League. And a team taking the team that qualified for the Europa League directly to the Champions League and winning the league as well. For me, I think it shows how dominant, how tactical, brilliant he is. Yes, the team that was left for him by Jurgen Klopp was a good team, but let's not forget that the likes of were not in that team. The likes of Roberto Firmino were not longer in that team. A lot of quality players actually left that team as well. The likes of Fabinho that previously won the league with Liverpool, Keita and the rest of them, they all left. But Ancelotti was able to grind out these results with the quality of players he had on his table, with the likes of Mo Salah were outstanding, Virgil van Dijk was outstanding as well. So for me, I think now that things are not going well, and the team should go, but the coach needs to start taking and making drastic decisions that can impact the team going forward.
Let's see how it goes at this point in time. A whole lot, a lot of expectation, from Liverpool. Yesterday we saw Bournemouth. They played goalless against Brentford, and the likes of Everton beats Burnley 2-0. Leeds United lost to Sunderland by 1-0 in the Premier League. Tonight we'll see some interesting fixtures as well, as Aston Villa will lock horns against Chelsea. It's going to be Brighton against Arsenal, Fulham against West Ham United. We'll see Manchester City against Nottingham Forest, and it's going to be Newcastle United against Manchester United. A whole lot at stake tonight. Miracle, Brighton against Arsenal. Arsenal, of course, trying to see how they can, continue to extend their lead on the Premier League table. Can they do that tonight against Brighton?
Yeah, for me, I think it will be a very, very difficult result for the Arsenal team. The Brighton team is a very, very compact and attacking-minded team. They don't sit back like other teams on a low block. They actually go forward and hit on the counter, play that tiki-taka football per se. Coach Fabian Hosler has impacted the team as a young manager. I think Arsenal can be hurt really, really bad by Brighton Football Club. If Brighton can take their chances today. Going away to the Amex Stadium has been a very, very, very difficult one for Arsenal over the years. Brighton have proven to be a hard nut to crack for Arsenal Football Club. But I just hope that Mikel Arteta and his boys can be able to get at least a point from that particular game.
Let's see how it goes. A very tough fixture for Arsenal tonight. Can they get it done against Wolverhampton Wanderers? Manchester City, Nottingham Forest, talking about the title race, looks like an easy fixture for City.
Yeah, per se, on paper, is an easy fixture for Manchester City. But let's not forget that when you play against this relegation-frightened teams, it's become very, very difficult. Knowing fully well that they want to gain the victory as well as cause harm to teams that are fighting for a place in Europe. I think Nottingham Forest of late has not really been the Nottingham Forest we knew last season that qualified for European football, almost even made it through to the Champions League. So for me, I think Manchester City heads and shoulders are above Nottingham Forest, and knowing fully well that they are still in the contention to win the league title. If they can eventually win all their games this season, Manchester City, they end up winning the league. So for me, I think Manchester City might just be having this one their way.
Let's see how it goes for Manchester City. We look forward to see if that one, of course, will really be an easy tie for them, just like, of course, we've seen on paper. It's going to be Newcastle United, Manchester United. Manchester United, they've been on an impressive run, so far. I don't know what you make of this fixture. Can Newcastle United halt the perfect run of Michael Carrick tonight?
For me, I think Newcastle United are a very, very, very tough team to play against. They're a very, very tough and dogged team. They have tall and big defenders that make it very, very difficult for any striker to have their say on the pitch of play. But I think Newcastle United, they are not really in a good run of form, especially at home. But Manchester United, over the past few seasons have found it difficult to get a victory at the St. James's Park. I just hope today will be different from the rest, knowing fully well that Michael Carrick has had a very, very good run of form, winning 6 out of 7 games. And he'll be going to this one again, knowing fully well that the likes of Liverpool and Chelsea might just drop points this midweek and going to that game to at least take a point or even all 3 points from that particular one.
Let's see how it goes. Of course, tonight, Newcastle, can they halt the impressive run of Michael Carrick? We'll keep our fingers crossed on that one. Yesterday, we saw a very crucial one. It was a painful defeat for FC Barcelona after trying to see how they can overturn that result against Atletico Madrid. First leg ended 4-0, but Barcelona, of course, they were able to put up a very impressive performance by scoring 3 goals yesterday, but couldn't get the very best, in that one. Ended 4-3 on aggregate in favor of Atletico Madrid. Miracle, I don't know what you make of that performance from FC Barcelona. You ask yourself, where was this performance in the first leg?
Yeah, for me, I think Coach Flick and his boys have learned from their mistakes in the first leg of that particular game against Atletico Madrid, which they actually lost by 4-0. I think they were dominated, they were outclassed. They let Atletico Madrid possess and dominate them, taking their chances, and they left a lot of space in their defensive line, which actually caused them. But going into that particular one yesterday, I think they actually dominated the game. They deserved the victory. Unfortunately for them, the victory was not enough, but I think they will be going into that one knowing fully well that they did their best, and their heads on a high. They can go into that one correcting their mistakes and knowing fully well that next time they wouldn't be making such mistakes again.
A whole lot at this point in time. I look forward to see how FC Barcelona will try as much as they can, of course, to see how they can get the job done, especially when it has to do with the league title. Liverpool, not a big opponent. Real Madrid, not really that fantastic. The other day they lost to Getafe, and from what it is, the La Liga title race still very much intense in as it stands.
Yeah, for me, I think Barcelona are the front runners now to win the league title. 4 points away from drift of the league inside, in front of above any other team. I think it's a good one for the team. I think it gives them confidence ahead of a Clásico that is yet to come at the Camp Nou. So I think Barcelona just have an edge. But let's not forget that the league has been there's been a little bit of change so far. We've seen Real Madrid lead in the last couple of weeks. We've seen Barcelona go back to the top. So anything can still happen between now and the end of the season.
Let's see how it goes at this point in time. Can anything still happen? We'll keep our fingers crossed. But at this point, we'll call it a wrap because our time is up on the show. You can go down to our different social media handle: Facebook, Instagram, X, and YouTube. The conversation, continues right there. We'll be back tomorrow, 7 a.m. To bring a result, from the games that we played tonight, especially in the English Premier League. Special thanks to Miracle for this justice on the show this evening. We really, really do appreciate your time as well with us. My name is Kingsley Manuel. Thanks for watching.
The board, management, and staff of Morrison Media Group presents the 2026 Anniversary Celebration Lecture of Morrison Media Group. Theme: Media's role in shaping social change, addressing inequities, and empowering voices. Chairman Alex Ndodi Enabele, FSM, President, Institute of Strategic Management of Nigeria, Chartered. Keynote speaker, Professor Armstrong Idachaba, Professor of Media and Broadcasting Communication. Panelist, Professor Chris Ochonogo, Immediate Past Head of Department, Journalism and Media Studies, University of Port Harcourt. Dr. Ijoma Tobosia, Secretary, NUJ, River State. Dr. Sarah Joe, University Orator and Associate Dean, Faculty of Communication and Media, River State University, Port Harcourt. Dr. Ibiere Koki, Ignatius Aju University of Education, Rumolomini, Port Harcourt. Chief host, Dr. Chinyere Igwe, Esquire, Chairman, Morrison Group. Date: Tuesday, 10th March 2026. Venue: Gate Place Hotel, Kilometer 5, East West Road, adjacent Obirikwere Flyover, Rumosi, Port Harcourt. Time: 10 a.m. For more information, please call Kainde Paul Obofade 081 063 41777 or Samuel Ajinwo at 090-454-00744. Signed, Management. From the line across the ocean to the land